Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Hamilton. Welcome to Human Growth and Development for the second fall term, short term for about 8 weeks. I'd like to provide you with a little bit of information related to your class as it begins today. If you will enter the classroom on Canvas, you will find there a loaded course outline. It should be toward the top of the page, just underneath the welcome notice. If you'll download that or at least pull it up so you can see it, we're going to walk through that real quickly. That first page tells you who I am and how you can get in touch with me. Please note that I do function in a clinical section as well. It may take me a minute to answer your text, but I will get back with you promptly as soon as I'm able. That first page also tells you about our course outcomes and whatnot. The information you're really looking for actually begins on page 2. For those of you who entered the classroom perhaps late last night or very early this morning, you'll notice that we're going to cover 2 chapters per week. Each one of those chapters will have a discussion post as well as a response post to one of your colleagues, which basically means you'll post a primary response to a discussion question that I post, and then you'll need to respond to at least one of your colleagues' posts before certain time frames. That will take place each week. We'll have a test. We'll have a quiz, a giant quiz, after the first 4 chapters, after the second 4 chapters, and then the last 3 chapters, and then the next to the last 3 chapters to get all 4 of those tests in. Those tests are worth 125 points apiece, or half of your grade. You'll notice there when those tests are going to be available and when they close. You'll discover more information about that as we move along through the term. As I thumb down, the next important information is your grade information and how I will calculate that. We're going to have 14 discussion posts and response posts together. Put those 2 things together, you get 15 points per chapter each week. All of that adds up. There may be a discrepancy now that I look at that. No, it's correct. You're going to end up with 1,000 points. I'll talk to you about your PowerPoint project a little bit later. Tells you how to add up your grade. The quickest thing to be mindful of is that you are progressing toward 1,000 points. Between 900 and 1,000 is an A, so just be aware that there'll be a cumulative total at the right-hand side of your grade book. For you, it's probably down toward the bottom of your grade book listing, and the more points, the merrier. There should be a percentage there, and I'll tell you how to work that percentage at another time. But at the bottom of page 3 is some very important information. Each week there will be a discussion question for each chapter. Now that discussion question is worth 10 points of the 15 per each chapter. The response post is worth 5. Look very carefully at the bottom of the page in red print. It says that each discussion post must be at least 6 full sentences long. So when you're providing an answer to the original discussion post each week, it must be 6 sentences long. And when I say 6 sentences, I mean at least 6 sentences, and you end a sentence with a period. Please don't get some of the grammar or some of the syntax things confused when you think you're adding 2 sentences when you're including a semicolon. That's only 1. Just be mindful of that. Sometimes I count them, but after this many years, I generally can tell if there's enough work there. This particular term, you'll need to respond to at least one of your colleagues' posts. That too must be at least 6 full sentences. Bear in mind, I love your post. Thank you for posting so well. I appreciate what you had to say. Sentences similar to that, as noted at the top of page 4, will not count toward your sentence totals. In other words, I toss them out. Your discussion post, read carefully here. The primary discussion post will open with the rest of your material on Sunday evening. That primary post is due no later than Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. The reason for that is so that your colleagues have enough time to respond and so that you can respond to someone else's post, so that y'all are not blowing up the discussion board at 7 or 8 o'clock on Saturday evening with all these posts when no one can actually engage in any sort of discussion. So your discussion post, your primary post, is due by Wednesday. at 11:59. Your response post is due no later than 11:59 on the following Saturday. The Sunday that comes next, the next two chapters will open for you, and we'll do the process over and over again. There'll also be a quiz for each chapter each week. Again, that's noted in the grade portion of the course outline. Please note toward the top of page 4 that I do not do late work. Now, please understand, I'm fully aware that life intervenes. My suggestion is that you do your work promptly toward the first of the week. Those of you who have children, your children are going to get sick. Your car will break down. Your internet's going to hiccup. All those other sorts of challenges. So if you miss some of your work for whatever reason, and you end up on Saturday trying to squeeze it all in to make everything fit, my first question when you ask me to open up something for you will simply be, why didn't you do it on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? There are 7 days a week that you can work this material. Please do your work promptly. You'll discover that if you've been in my general psychology class, that my human growth class is similar in at least one respect. If you do the work I ask you to do, the way I ask you to do it, you'll have an easy A. If you don't turn in your work, I can't grade it. If I can't grade it, you won't get an A. It's pretty simple. Please also be mindful, I don't do extra credit. Take care of your work. And again, on page 5 of the course outline, it references the need for you to be prompt. Please don't procrastinate. Know that I will use your class email to visit with you. I'll send email through the Canvas system. If you want to forward that email somewhere else, that's between you and Canvas. But I will be using your VC email in that regard. Be nice within reason. Please know that when you're responding to someone else's post, I'm perfectly good. I think it's a fine thing for you to disagree. Just be respectful in the process. It's very appropriate for you to ask questions of each person's post if that's what you want to do. My only request is that if someone asks you a question, you do your best to respond to that question in a way that's helpful for the entire discussion board. Otherwise, it should be a relatively easy, smooth going term. If you have any question or concern, please email. I really am prompt on those sorts of things. If you have another concern, it becomes something of an emergency, you can always text. Again, that number is at the top of the front page of the outline. If you have any other questions, be sure to let me know. I look forward to our time together.